Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Leicester MBA webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos, and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Associates. And joining me all the way from the University of Leicester this evening is Dr. Peter Rodgers. Good evening to you, Dr. Peter.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, so welcome everybody, and what we're going to do this evening is I'm just briefly going to introduce you to Stafford and what our role is here in the Middle East. I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Peter, and he will take you through the program and explain how the program works. And towards the end of the webinar, if you look on your right-hand side, you'll see a section that says questions, and you are very welcome to type up your questions that you want Dr. Peter to answer. I will then be able to go through those questions. I will be able to call them out to Dr. Peter, and he will answer them to the best of his ability. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Associates? Well, Stafford Associates was the very first resource center provider for distance learning education in the Middle East, and we were established in 1993. We are currently the resource center for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Leicester. And we do offer a variety of programs, starting from certificates to diplomas, bachelor's, master's, right through until doctorate degrees. And our function here in the Middle East is to provide you with the administrative support as well as academic support. So basically, our team is here to assist you in getting through the actual application process. And I'm sure you have been in touch with quite a few of our academic consultants already. Otherwise, you would not be here this evening. Okay, so I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Peter, and then I shall return towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Dr. Peter.
Helen, firstly, thank you very much for the very kind introduction, and to everybody, welcome to the University of Leicester. Before giving a brief introduction about the university, I'd like to say who I am. My name is Dr. Peter Rodgers. I'm the director of the MBA program here at the University of Leicester's School of Business. Previously, I worked at the University of Sheffield, and I moved to the University of Leicester this year in October, and very much looking forward to working with you on the MBA program. Give you a brief introduction about the University of Leicester. Leicester is obviously, as I'm sure you'll know, situated in the Midlands of England. It was founded in the last century, in 1921, and it was given the Royal Charter after the Second World War in 1957. In terms of ratings and its position as a higher educational institution in the world, the University of Leicester has been ranked within the top 1% of universities in the world, according to the highly respected Times Higher Education publication. It's also been ranked within the top 2% of universities by the QS World University Ranking System and given 5 stars for excellence. It's also within a UK higher educational institutional perspective amongst 25 universities which takes part in the Research Power Rankings, which tries to examine the role of research within the UK's universities context. So that's a brief introduction about the wider university. In terms of the MBA, Masters of Business Administration, as you know, the Master of Business Administration at Leicester takes place in an environment of distance learning. Okay, so it's an opportunity for students throughout the world to interact with the University of Leicester in terms of myself and other colleagues, online So there's no physical need to be only solely learning within a physical space. We have the opportunity, like today, to interact online. The Leicester MBA was one of the first MBAs set up in this fashion. It was launched in 1989 and was accredited by the prestigious AMBA accreditation of MBAs, which takes place all around the world, to recognize the quality of provision within the MBA course. So what does the MBA try to do? It tries to bring together academic expertise, academic insights from a variety of different settings across the disciplines of business and management, and actually tie and integrate them into the roles, how they feed into practice. And what do I mean by that? I mean, how do theories pertaining to business and management, how do they actually function in the real world of business and management? So what we try to do within the Leicester MBA is provide our students with the necessary skills and knowledge to move forward in their own professional careers and take forward these skills to actually improve and enhance their own professional identities in their working careers moving forwards. In terms of the MBA, it's a very international MBA in terms of the colleagues here at the University of Leicester who work on it. There's colleagues, myself, I'm British, but there's colleagues from other nationalities who also work, lecture, take seminars, undergo marking, interact with students from a variety of different nationalities. We also have students from a variety of different countries from around the world. So we have a very international student body. We believe this is a very good thing. We think this is a real positive and a real strength of our MBA in terms of it gives an opportunity for the students to meet other people, similar-minded individuals who have chosen to take an MBA for whatever reason to improve their professional skills, and it gives them opportunities to obviously do informal networking. We often hear examples of students, somebody from one country who might be going to do some business in another country, and they can call on somebody they've met through the MBA, and you have an already existing network which you can use to move forward in your business careers. So to date, we're very proud to state that we have over 12,000 graduates from the Leicester MBA who are located throughout the world, and this is an important part and something we're driving forward to develop into the future. One of the, I think, big advantages of providing the MBA through the medium of distance learning online is it provides flexibility. And this is incredibly important, I think, in the world we all live in today. The world seems to be getting A, smaller, and B, busier. And as a result of that, here at Leicester, we understand that people have work commitments, people have family commitments, they have families and work and different timings. So the days of you must be in one place at one time and that's the only time you can receive this one lecture is maybe changing in terms of the provision of education. So what we try and do in the MBA is provide flexibility that works for our students. Throughout this, of course, we also try and provide constant face-to-face support. So Helen mentioned in her kind introduction how Stafford provide a lot of the organisational and administrative support for the MBA, and from people like myself and other academic colleagues, we'll provide more academic input into the MBA. In respect of that, and looking at the last point here, the latest management thinking, myself, I work in the field of strategy and strategic management. I'm an associate professor of strategy at the School of Business at the University of Leicester. So I do a lot of work looking at business-state relations, specifically in the former Soviet Union, in Russia in particular. I look at issues like corruption, which is always quite interesting in business, informal economies, importance of corporate social responsibility, but these are only my research specialities. I have lots of colleagues at the University of Leicester who have a range of also expert and internationally recognised research interests, which again are absolutely critical in providing up-to-date management thinking across the MBA programme. In terms of the MBA then, as I've said, the MBA is accredited by the highly respected, on a global scale, the Association of Masters of Business Administration, the AMBA, sign of accreditation. It also provides qualifications in terms of the Chartered Management Institute, the CMI for short, and also a diploma in strategic management and leadership. My slides just gone there. In terms of the structure, sorry, there's a bit of a problem with my screen there. In terms of the course structure, duration, the length of the course, the duration is 30 months, so 2.5 years. This will consist of 5 modules. So we have 5 modules which are each 6 months each. And within this as well, throughout the 30 months, there's a portfolio, which is number 5, as you can see here, which is a learning and professional development portfolio. So I'll just talk through briefly the 5 modules within this 30-month MBA. So module 1, you'll study managing and developing people and organizations. This is a very popular and very clear module which provides students with some of the necessary skills in terms of human resource management. It provides students with latest critical thinking in management studies in terms of leadership and also change management, and also how companies, large companies, small companies, companies in the Western world, companies in emerging market economies are utilizing new innovative approaches to how to manage people within organizations in order to provide more efficient outcomes for the firm and also for the individuals, often the employees as well. So one of the big issues at the moment in this field is certainly issues around employee well-being, and to what extent it's important for an organization to make sure that its employees are essentially, in the non-academic term, happy, in terms of if they're happy within their workplace, they'll potentially be more productive for the company itself. So there's debates around that one. That forms part of module 1. So that gives a flavour in terms of the importance of people, of course, in terms of in businesses and businesses' approach, to remember that businesses don't take place, it's something I would say to all my students, don't take place in a political vacuum. They always take place in a context in which people are present, and people, as we know, are incredibly important. Moving on to module 2, module 2 looks at value creation and how to bring ideas to the market. So it's I would say, centered around issues around marketing, but also issues around that are no less important within business and management studies: innovation, entrepreneurship, thinking about how individuals, how governments can develop policies and environments and contexts which can, for example, facilitate business, either business startup from a micro level or continue and grow business. And that might be for small businesses, that might also be for large businesses as well. And of course, as I said as well, the importance here of marketing, to what extent different ways to do marketing and how marketing might shift according to the specific market a company is looking at. How can operations management, again, drive firm efficiency moving forwards? Excuse me. Moving on to module 3, This looks at managing finances and strategic decision marketing. There's elements of economics in here. There are elements of accounting and finance, the importance of money within businesses and how companies can manage accounting and management accounting and finance importantly in order to achieve their strategic aims. Also, I suppose on that side we see the importance of numbers within a company. There's also the importance of issues around ethics, issues around corporate social responsibility. Essentially, how important is it in today's 21st century for companies to behave correctly in terms of ways that are considered socially acceptable? To what extent is it acceptable for a firm to behave in one way in one environment, for example, in Britain, and then the company might behave or engage in acts in a different place in Australia or in Brazil or in Russia? To what extent this is acceptable? To what extent global companies today are building their own global policies, which to some degrees transcend, go above national policies in terms of business ethics and also in terms of business corporate social responsibility. In the wider issue there, the last word in number 3, sustainability. To what extent and what role can business play today in providing sustainable futures for all of us living on this planet? To what extent is these problems around global warming and environmental sustainability, are these issues that solely lie in the inbox trays of government, or are these decisions, are these issues that need to be debated within businesses and also with universities? So again, this is an important part of the MBA at the University of Leicester, that we provide our students with the opportunity to debate and discuss and also obviously learn about the importance of these issues within international and national business workplaces today. Moving on, we've got number 4. We've got a choice of one, 2 or 3 things here. So we can either choose managing international marketing, managing finance for corporate policy and strategy, or the final one, in terms of managing human resource strategy. So that gives students an option within months 19 to 24 to make a choice whether they want to concentrate on some marketing issues, managing finance is number 2, or they want to concentrate on issues around human resource management. And finally, months 25 to 30, we have, organizational research and consultancy methods for the MBA project. This is an opportunity again to do business analysis within looking at a company project. So this gives some kind of hands-on opportunity for our students to look not only at what are the important theories within a certain subject area, but actually in practice, how does this work out as well. Learning and professional development portfolio, as you'll see on your screens there, this is a portfolio that runs throughout the program. So some of the issues that you'll be learning about and some of the assignments that you'll undertake during these 5 modules, parts of these can feed into your own personal learning and professional portfolio development, which can then can kind of develop over the period of 2.5 years. Moving on to the next slide. So how does learning, how does teaching take place? As we've seen here, online and in person. So as I mentioned at the start, the Leicester MBA in the main, for the majority of the time, is a distance learning MBA. There's also lots of opportunity to meet people in person. I'll talk through initially the online content of the MBA program. Lectures take place traditionally online, so there will be recorded lectures from academics at the University of Leicester like myself and also colleagues at the University of Leicester. To supplement lectures, there'll also be a series of seminars. These take place online, And these, importantly, as you can see, are live. So this is an opportunity for you yourselves as students to work in small groups and discuss, debate, critically analyze, critically debate issues that have arisen within the lectures. It's an opportunity also to discuss these issues, obviously, amongst yourselves as students, but also ask questions to the teacher, the lecturer, myself, or a colleague. Together with this, there's also an interactive element in terms of online discussions. So there's a discussion board within each of the modules which provides the students an opportunity to discuss themselves. What did you think of this? Do you think the CSR policy is good? Do you think it's bad? You have an opportunity to discuss and debate online and hear the opinions of different people, which is often sometimes a very good way to learn. To get also continuing with the online program of learning, we have self-guided lessons with activities. So there'll be kind of some quite proactive activities that take place online, and also at the same time you have online readings. So a lot of the readings that you need to do within the MBA, all this course material will be found online. So that you won't need to go physically to a library. The readings are supplied by the University of Leicester on the online portal for yourselves to use and participate on. That's the online side of the learning process within the MBA. In person, there is also a series of residential workshops and also what we call here the Leicester Masterclass. So these are an opportunity for MBA students to meet in person and take place normally over a period of 2, 3, 4 days, and have quite a concentrated period of learning. This is obviously great in terms of having an opportunity to meet in person, as I was talking about at the start. One of the really important feedbacks we get from the MBA program is the opportunity to meet new people from different countries who have similar interests, who are potentially in similar positions in terms of their business careers. So the residential workshops, obviously there's lunches, there's dinners, an opportunity for people to meet socially as well as simply sitting in a classroom. Okay. So in terms of person, you have 4 residential workshops. So there's a residential workshop for each of these 3 modules. Module 1, managing and developing people and organizations. There's a residential 2 for managing value creation process from ideas to market, and there's a residential workshop number 3 for managing finance and strategic decision making, and also one for organizational research and consultancy methods. Finally, as you'll see at the lower side of the slide, is we have the Leicester Masterclass, which is a 6-day program that takes place once during the whole period of the course. Okay, so if the residential workshops normally take place at the weekend, they're a 2-day meeting. At the weekend, students find this is the most useful and most appropriate time to meet in terms of, so this doesn't cause problems in terms of existing work commitments. So these 4 residential workshops take place over 4 2-day weekends. Sorry. And finally, we have the Leicester Masterclass, which is a 6-day period, which takes place just once throughout the 2.5 years, the 30 months of the duration of the MBA. Okay. In terms of routes to receive kind of real-time interaction, as you can see here, you have a residential workshop, you have online seminars, which are live. As I said, the recordings, the lectures are recorded, whilst the seminars we provide are online. And then you have an opportunity, obviously, for residential workshops or to go to the Leicester Masterclass. Okay. Hopefully this is all useful information throughout in any process, whether you're joining a new job, whether you're joining a new educational pursuit, taking an MBA. It's very important that you have and work and learn within a supportive learning environment. As Helen mentioned at the start of our session today, Stafford Associates provides some of the administrative support for our students throughout the MBA program in UAE especially. Okay, so in terms of help and support for you as students, who's available? And one thing I would say, as I said at the start, I'm the director of the MBA program, and I'd like to underline and make very clear to you all, these people are available for you. You are our students, and we would like you to access and to make use of the opportunities available for you. So in an olden world is put up your hand and say, hello, I've got a problem, for example, at the bottom here, the English language teaching unit at the University of Leicester is an exceptional unit of highly experienced professionals who provide support for University of Leicester students whose English is not their native language. We have lots of students from all over the world, and they go to the English language teaching unit who provide professional support in order to aid students in terms of their learning development. Modules, what kind of support do you have here? You have a module leader. The module leader is an academic like myself who will provide academic leadership and provide management of the overall running of the module. Okay, so if there's any major issues in terms of the running of the module, in terms of the provision of lectures, seminars, the content of reading lists, these might be issues and questions that can be answered by the module leader. You also have a study group leader. These are leaders who undertake the seminars in interactive discussion with our students. Workshops will take place either online or within one of the residentials. These will be led again by a workshop leader who again is somebody our students can turn to answer any questions they have. Throughout your period as a student at the University of Leicester within the MBA program, you will also be assigned a personal tutor. This again is an academic at the University of Leicester who will provide you with support in terms of sometimes some of the softer skills you might need to learn. Are there any other issues outside of the academic rigors of the MBA that you need to answer? So these are people who can support you on that, and that's moving on to the next person who might be able to help you is in terms of career development office at the University of Leicester. You will have access obviously to people here who provide you, if required, with support in terms of what you want to do upon completion of your MBA. Library, as I said before, a lot of the material we provide is online, is within the MBA on an online context. However, there's also librarians available who you can contact if you'd like to get specific journal articles or specific books, things like this. You also have access to the University of Leicester's online library service, which provides you, if you'd like to look up any additional reading, you'll be able to gain access to that, of course, free of charge. So in terms of what's it like on a kind of weekly basis, how much work am I going to have to do is a question that's often asked by students, and it's a very good question. Typically weekly session, I put here at about 12 to 14 hours. Okay, so that's, if you do it for 5 days in a week, that's 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, between 2 and 3 hours a day is something on kind of a ballpark figure. This takes place in terms of online lectures, so that will take place for 2 hours recorded, or there might be an online seminar which will be an hour, but that will be live. There'll also be an opportunity for lectures and seminar discussions. These will be moderated by the module leader, and there'll also be activities that you would do, you would download online, and then you'd be able to complete them also. There's readings again which can be downloaded from the internet as well, and also there'll be materials and assignments that you can put into your learning and professional development portfolio as well. So it varies, of course, but something in the region of 12 to 14 hours a week. In terms of assessment, the MBA has a variety of different ways of assessment. We don't just simply have one exam at the end of the 30-month MBA period. We have modules, as we know. We've got the 5 modules within the MBA. These have mid-term examinations and also a final individual assignment. Within the optional module that I talked about, you have an individual assignment in the middle of the module, and also the opportunity for group work, working in small groups at the end of the module as well. You also have, as an MBA project, the opportunity to do a kind of a consultancy style study. So you might, for example, I put here, you might develop a business plan for a business, something like that. And that gives you, again, an opportunity to do something that's actually very practical and might be useful in a more practitioner perspective in the real world of business. In terms of the final point, the portfolio of learning and development, this is, again, is an area where things that you undertake within the MBA program, you can place into your learning and development portfolio, which provides evidence of your participation on a variety of different learning activities and engagement within the MBA program. Okay, as you can see here, what do you need to do in order to gain entry to the MBA? You could either have a UK degree of a 2-2 or equivalent and 3 years work experience, or you can have another recognized, for example, professional qualification, and also some considerable management experience. The next question, if the first degree wasn't completed in English, which is often the case with our students, we'll need an English language requirement, and this is generally accepted by the levels put here. So IELTS is 6.5 or TOEFL 575 plus TWE 4.0 or 90 IBT. There's also an opportunity to take the University of Leicester's own English test, which is a way for us to judge the quality of a student's English language provision. Moving on to the next slide. In terms of monies, the MBA, what does it include? And also importantly, what doesn't it include? So it includes all your study materials, as I mentioned. It includes your attendance at residential workshops throughout the 30-month period of the MBA, and also includes the attendance at the Leicester Masterclass at the University of Leicester. It also includes costs for all your examinations. What doesn't it include, importantly? It doesn't include the accommodation. Maybe it's a hotel, at residential workshops, or at the Leicester Masterclass at the University of Leicester. And also it doesn't include the travel to go for examinations, the residential workshops, or to come to Leicester for the Leicester Masterclass. As you can see, the fees here, the fees are 13,600 British pounds, and this can be paid in 6 affordable instalments. The application deadline is next year on the 1st of March 2018. Thank you for listening so intently to me. I think we have an opportunity now for any questions. There's also, as you can see here, info@staffordglobal.org, and also a telephone number as well. So you have an opportunity to ask some questions now. If you feel this isn't the right time, or you go home and you feel that the question then arises tomorrow or the day after, please send an email. Please pick up the telephone and make an inquiry.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Peter. And the questions section is now open, so please do start typing up your questions so that Dr. Peter can actually answer them. Okay, so let's see what we have on our panel here. All right. Okay, so very first question, will my degree state online distance learning?
No, it will state University of Leicester Masters of Business Administration. So it'll be the University of Leicester MBA.
Okay. The other questions I get here is, will I be able to actually come into this program, because I do have a bachelor degree in IT. So will I be accepted, or do I require a bachelor's in administration or management?
It's a good question. As far as I know, it would be something to double check, but I don't think you necessarily need solely a bachelor's undergraduate degree in business administration. So it's something, if you could write in as an email or contact Stafford Associates, we'll certainly be able to deal with that. I'll pass that on to somebody at Leicester who'll be able to provide a more specific answer.
Right, okay, super. If I do not attend any of the workshops, what will happen to my studies?
No, that wouldn't be very good. That wouldn't be very good at all. We'll strongly encourage you to attend the residential workshops, A, because they give you an opportunity to learn, and B, because they give you an opportunity to meet fellow students. So the MBA, as I said, is something, I think it's a decision for people. We're all adults in terms of if this is something to do at the right stage of your careers, business careers, in terms of kind of self-development in a very wider professional sense. It's the residentials have been implemented into the course structure in order to try and provide more opportunities for that for the students. So, you know, very bluntly put, we'd strongly advise you to and encourage you to come to them.
Okay. Can you please let me know a little bit about the masterclass in the UK? What does that entail?
Right. That's a good question. Most importantly, it entails coming to Leicester. So for people who haven't come to the great city of Leicester before, it entails coming to Leicester. It's a 6-day course, so it's essentially a week. So it's not just a weekend and then go back to work on Monday morning. It's either taking a week's holiday or explaining to your employer that you're going to the University of Leicester as part of your MBA studies, and you'll be in Leicester for a week. So it's a great opportunity to A, come to the UK if you haven't been before, come to the University of Leicester, and it's a week of learning, talking, hopefully lots of fun and smiles, as well as lots of reading and lectures. So it's a week-long program that we'll develop, which includes lectures, which includes workshops, seminars. It's an opportunity sometimes for our MBA students to meet some of the academics that they've been talking to online in terms of seminars. They can actually meet people in person and say, oh, Peter's a real person, and you know, Peter likes cappuccino, and we can have a coffee and things like that as well. So it's an opportunity to feel part of the family at the University of Leicester as well. Hopefully it won't rain too much as well.
Excellent. Okay. Can I perhaps get any exemptions? I have completed a few modules at another university. Will I be able to get some credits?
I'm not sure. It would be. I would need to look specifically at which ones they are, but I don't think that would be possible, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's you're quite correct there, Dr. Peter. Unfortunately, the University of Leicester does not accept any credit exemptions. Okay. Okay, we have another one from Abdullah. I'm just going to quickly scroll down. There's quite a lot of questions coming through.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so let me just see that I do not miss this one. Okay. All right. Could you please let me know what the assignments, how are the assignments marked, and what are the grading scales? What is a pass mark, for example?
Okay, yeah. Marking will be done primarily. There'll be a first marker, a primary marker, and then importantly, in terms of due process and diligence, that will then take a process of moderation will take place by another academic at the University of Leicester. An agreement will be made in terms of the mark. In terms of grading structures, so if, for example, the pass is 50, there might be a merit that's 60, a distinction might be 70, or something like that. So in terms of the assignment and the preparation for the assignment, students will have the opportunity to be clearly see what is required in terms of a pass entails this. If you to gain a 60, you'll need to do this. To attain a distinction, you'll need to be able to do this. So hopefully these guidelines can kind of help our students achieve their intended learning outcomes.
Okay, super. Will I be able to come and visit you on the campus? Will I be able to see other students on the campus? Will I be able to attend any other lectures on campus?
Good questions. Yes, I think you'll certainly be able to come onto the University of Leicester's campus. Why? Because you will be students of the University of Leicester. So you'll be more than welcome to utilise all the facilities at the University of Leicester's campus. Will you be able to come and see me? Yes, you will be able to come and see me and other colleagues. In terms of physically meeting people, that's fine, yes, as well. Things as well as opportunities that take place. The University of Leicester is a very large institution across a very large campus, so you'll also have the opportunity to go to maybe public lectures, public workshops that are taking place as well. If you see something that's interesting for you whilst you're in Leicester, then excellent, enjoy and go and take the opportunity to do these things. The final part of the question, I think, was kind of, can I go and sit in on other lectures? For example, as well as doing the MBA, I'm very interested in, I don't know, physics. Can I go and listen to a lecture on nuclear physics? I've just started the university, so I'd have to double check with somebody about that. Something
yeah.
Maybe.
Thank you, Dr. Peter. Okay, and what will happen to me, to my studies, if I happen to fail an assignment? Do I have a second chance?
Yes, there's a chance for resits, as far as I know, across all of the modules. Yeah.
Okay.
We understand we're human. Importantly, as I said at the start, about the importance of, this is me being an academic, people make businesses, but businesses take place not in vacuums. So sometimes we all have a bad day, or we, as we say in England, we got out of bed on the wrong side of the bed. So sometimes the student might just not do very well in one module for some reason, and then you have the opportunity to do a resit and take it again. So that's, I think, one of the flexibilities that's built into the MBA system.
Okay, and will I be able to graduate at the actual university? And what will happen if I cannot attend the graduation?
Okay. As far as I know, I think you will be able to attend the graduation at the University of Leicester, and strongly recommend you to do so. Graduation is a celebration, most importantly for our students, to celebrate your achievements in terms of reaching a milestone in your own academic development. So yes, that will be a fantastic opportunity. If, for example, you couldn't attend, the degree, of course, is still given to you. Okay, so it's not the case that if you don't turn up to Leicester on the 22nd of June 2021, you don't get your degree certificate. That's not the case. You'll still receive, of course, your degree MBA. Okay, but you just won't have picked it up in person, had a nice photograph, and enjoyed the Leicester sunshine.
Correct. And Dr. Peter is quite correct. It can actually be courier to you. You just need to organize that directly with the university. Can you let us know which modules are examinable and where can I write my exams?
Okay. As I said, I go in the brief outline of the modules. There's a variety of different ways in terms of how assessment takes place across the modules. There might be in terms of group work assignments, which would be obviously submitted online, and that will then obviously be assessed online. You provide your grades online as well. But in terms of examinations, again, you won't need to physically be travelling to Leicester in order to undertake your examinations.
Correct. And Dr. Peter is quite correct. When it comes to examination time, the university obviously knows where you're residing, and they will try and organize the closest examinable center to your city. A lot of the times it is written at the British Councils, your nearest British Council, but that does actually get organised by the university, so they will definitely be in touch with you regarding that. Okay. All right. Well, it seems that we have most of the questions answered. Okay. Are there any other questions that you would like to ask Dr. Peter? This is actually the time to get some academic questions through. Dissertation. Oh, can you give us a little bit of information about the dissertation, and what can I really expect in the dissertation?
Lots of hard work is the straight and easy answer. On a serious note, that was a little joke. The dissertation is it's an opportunity for students to focus on something that they are part of the course, a part of one of the modules that they're really interested in. So this will be an opportunity for a longer, normally, piece of academic work in which you can do some of your own research, do some extended, more background reading, and provide a more longer, so instead of a 2,000 or 3,000 word answer that might just take place on an academic assignment within one of the modules, it will be a much longer piece of coursework. But the advantage of the dissertation, I suppose, is, as I said at the start, the subject or the topic of the dissertation will be agreed between you and your dissertation supervisor, who will be allocated to you by the University of Leicester. But it's normally on a theme that you yourselves can choose to do. So if there's something you're specifically interested in, you can discuss with your supervisor, is this something that you think is a suitable academic theme for the dissertation, and hopefully enjoy doing it as well.
Excellent. Okay, any more questions that need answering? No. Well, okay, well, Dr. Peter, I think it seems that we have covered most of the questions asked. Just one more on payment. When can I do my payment installments? Okay, so, well, basically I can answer that one. There is a payment installment that the university will send you as soon as you have got your unconditional offer. And it's normally on a quarterly basis, and there are dates and times that you would need to obviously do the payment, but that gets sent to you directly by the university, and you would need to pay the university directly. And there's one more question. If I cannot do the IELTS test or the LET, will you accept Pearson test of English?
That's a good question. As far as I know, I'll have to come back, I think, and double check with the people at the university who've got a little bit more knowledge about the English language requirements. Okay. So if we can get back to that person with that specific answer, that'd be useful.
Okay. As far as I know, I think it's Rahul that asked that question. Rahul, yes, the university does have a variety of English tests that you could possibly do. They do obviously encourage you to do the LET, which is the Leicester English test. However, there are other options as well, such as Pearson and also such as TOEFL. But you can actually get in contact with your Stafford consultant, and we'll be able to give you a little bit more information on that as well. Okay. All right. Can I apply? Just one more question. Now they seem to be flooding in, Dr. Peter. Can I actually apply if I do not have a bachelor's degree, but I do have at least 8 years management experience?
Right. Okay, that again is something I think we need to look at on an individual case-by-case basis.
Correct. And Dr. Peter is quite correct. What we'd like to see there, and especially at Stafford when you do send your CV, we'd like to see that you portray very strong managerial roles and responsibilities in every task that you have undertaken or every job function that you have undertaken over the years of your tenure. So please make sure that your CV that you do send to your academic consultant is quite detailed, and we will be able to advise you accordingly on that. Okay. When is the application deadline? Okay, so I can answer that one. Well, basically, we are currently accepting applications now for the April 2018 intake. Now, because this program is extremely popular, we have got limited seats. So please do send your application in as soon as possible. We can then send it through to the university for review and approval so that you can get your conditional, unconditional offer. And obviously, if you get your unconditional offer at this stage, it gives you the opportunity to fulfill the conditions. So if you have an English requirement or there is a document outstanding, you still have the time to actually fulfill those conditions and then get your unconditional. And just a bit of guidance here as well is when you do get that unconditional offer, do make your payment immediately, because by making that payment immediately, your first installment, you automatically ensure that your seat is guaranteed in that particular cohort. And as I said, it does fill up quite quickly, and there are limited seats available due to the popularity of this program. Okay. All right, so Dr. Peter, I think that is all for now. Oh, okay, wait, here we go. What is the difference between the content of a general MBA and a specialism?
Meaning the specialism within the MBA?
Yeah, because I think he's talking about, well, he hasn't specifically spoken about which specialism, but he's basically saying what is the difference between a general and, let's say, a specialization in finance?
Okay. The MBA, in terms of the degree that you'll receive, is what it says in terms of a Masters of Business in Administration. And the course has been developed and has been structured in order to provide the students with a very holistic overview and kind of professional intake into a variety of different parts of business and management in today's world. So as you can see in kind of modules 1, 2 and 3, we have an opportunity to look at human resource management in terms of the importance of people within organizations. You have also the importance of finance, which is, money is incredibly important in any organization. You have also importance, as I'm mentioning, about things like ethics, politics, corporate social responsibility, how companies, how organizations behave themselves or not in different national and international contexts. So these are the different things which, of course, we study them in terms of Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, in terms of that's for ease for learning from a student perspective. But of course, in a kind of real life world of business, all of these things interact with each other all the time. So the MBA has been set up to provide our students with a real, I think, professional holistic approach that hopefully will aid you in terms of your own business and professional careers moving forwards. The options that are provided, I think, in Module 4 are given just to provide you with a choice in terms of somebody might have a specific interest in human resource management. Somebody might be a manager, a human resource manager, and might want to learn and do more understanding in that role. There might be somebody who's already in a career of management accounting, and so might want to obviously focus on finance, management accounting in terms of, and will obviously take that choice. So it provides a degree of choice for our students, but that choice also takes place within the wider structure that's already been developed for you.
Okay, good. And Farhan's question is, do we need to complete all the modules within the same time period?
The module. Could you, yeah, maybe Helen, you answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I understand what she's trying to say. Is that you know, we've obviously got all these modules that we need to get through, but each what is the duration of each module? And once you finish that module, you then go on to the next one. And perhaps what is the maximum time period that this MBA can be completed?
So what's the maximum time period?
Yeah.
I'm not completely sure in terms of university regulations, but what I've given at the onset here is in terms of the 6 months is what the module takes. If somebody needs to take, for example, a resit of different parts of each of the module, that will obviously take longer time. So I would strongly urge people to obviously aim to pass each module, each piece of assignment and assessment at the first time. So there is a cut-off point which I think I would need to check in terms of university regulations of the period of time. But
yeah,
30 minutes is fine.
Yeah, that's quite correct, Dr. Peters. He's quite correct. In basically, we need to look and see the individual circumstances. But in general, there's a time period of about 5 years that it can be completed. But again, it does depend on the individual circumstances of that student. Okay. John's question is about an IELTS. Again, if he has graduated from a university that uses English, you know, does he still have to do the English requirement? And John, again, it's very important that we see where this degree has come from, which university. We need to ensure that that degree is equivalent to a UK level 6 honours level, and all that gets assessed by the university first. Okay. In general, you know, there have been circumstances where the student does not have to do the IELTS, but then again, it does really depend on where that degree comes from. So please do get in touch with us, do get in touch with your academic consultants, do send those documents through, and we can have that assessed for you. Okay. All right, so, oh my goodness, now there's even more coming through. Okay. Okay, can we, will the university assist me in getting a visa for the masterclass in the UK?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think university will obviously provide you with necessary documentation in terms of an outline and a timetable of what the course will be taking place in terms of the Leicester Masterclass. Beyond that, I think it's, as far as I know, I think it's the student's responsibility to submit their own documentation to the embassy in order to gain a visa to enter the United Kingdom. Is that, okay. I'm pretty sure that's correct, Helen, yeah?
Yeah, that is pretty correct. I know the university support team will also be able to give you guidance on that. They will normally provide you with a letter from the university to say that you do require to obviously attend these master classes. And then with that letter, you can do the necessary arrangements. Okay. Charles, yes, Charles, we will have this recorded for you. So don't worry if you have missed sections of the webinar. Your academic consultant and at Stafford will be able to send that through to you. Okay. If I do an MBA in marketing, will my degree mention MBA marketing? So in other words, will his degree certificate state the specialization?
As far as I know, no. I think it will state an MBA from the University of Leicester. Can you have in brackets the specialisation?
In the specialty, it will have it. Yes, it will have it in brackets. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the majority of the students are from Saudi Arabia. Is there a possibility that you can ask for a change of workshop location in Saudi? That is by Raid. Okay, Raid, we have a central position at the moment, and the workshops are done in Ras Al Khaimah. It is actually quite central, and we find that it's quite accessible to a lot of the students throughout the Middle East. Okay, so it's normally done at a fantastic 5-star hotel as well on a very popular island called Marjan Island. So we do encourage you obviously to attend these. They are compulsory, but unfortunately at this stage they will not be done in Saudi. Okay. Can I switch halfway through my program to a full-time program, as I know this is a distance learning program? Okay. All right.
Helen, maybe, yeah. Could you? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think what Rona is basically asking is obviously this is a distance learning program. So at any point halfway through, can they switch to doing it on campus? Okay.
Okay.
And Rona, it's not really advisable. The distance learning students follow a specific format. And they do obviously follow a certain time frame in which to do the workshops, in which to do the assignments, in which to do the modules, and that is at completely different time frames to any other cohorts or sections that may be running. Okay, so it's not really advisable at all. Okay, right, I think. Can you please advise the purpose of the CMI? There is a CMI accreditation. Can you please advise the purpose of CMI?
No, it's the Chartered Management Institute.
Management, correct.
Yeah. It's just it's a kind of another string to your bow, as we'd say in English, in terms of it's recognised by the Chartered Management Institute, which is a highly recognised institution within the UK, kind of recognising what's in terms of an academic product the University of Leicester's MBA is. So again, it's something you can do when in terms of developing and moving forward in your own academic or professional careers. You can say I have an MBA from the University of Leicester, and this is recognised by the Chartered Management Institute, and that automatically gives it legitimacy and credibility.
Excellent. And there's one last question by Mahmed. How flexible is this program? Can I actually do 2 modules simultaneously?
Can you do 2 modules simultaneously? I think the answer is no. I think you need to do module 1 in terms of months 1 to 6, and then upon completion you carry on module 2. And work like that in a kind of a synchronized way. In terms of the course, it's set up to kind of work in a cohesive sense, so you get an overall generic undertaking for the MBA in general.
Absolutely, and Dr. Peter is quite correct. It's really not advisable. You know, the program is set up in such a way that you do spend, you know, X amount of months on a specific module, and to try and do 2 simultaneously while you're working and you have your own professional and personal life is really very, very difficult, and you're setting yourself up for failure, which is not really what this program is all about. So our advice from the university is to stick to the program structure that is provided to you, and to obviously do 1 module at a time. Okay. All right, well, that is it. Finally, Dr. Peter, we've actually answered all these questions. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. It was wonderful having you and all these wonderful questions. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Peter. Lovely to see you again. And I do hope that we'll get your applications in as soon as possible and get that unconditional offer for you. And a good evening to everyone, and a good evening to you, Dr. Peter.
Thank you very much, Helen. Thank you very much for your kind support. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and also thank you very much for all your questions. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.